What did you learn in elementary school that turned out to be false, a lie when you reached adulthood? Let me know in the comments below. That I can't use my notes in life. TF, does that even mean? I'm always looking at my notes when I do my job. That cracking your fingers gives you arthritis. We had a teacher tell us that we only had so many uses before our vocal cords stopped working, so wasting it small talking during class would cause us to go mute in our 30s. This will go down on your permanent record. That people would be offering me free drugs all the time. Where are these people? Question mark, exclamation mark. That all my high school teachers and my professors once I got to college would require cursive. Apparently bears just nap a lot in the winter and don't take a 3-month mega nap. That won't slide in high school. N 5 days ago, taste bud zones. That blood is blue before it touches air. That my face was gonna get stuck like this zany face. That I wouldn't have a calculator in my pocket. We were once forced to do this profession test to find out our dream job, and one of the options was to become a Pokemon trainer. Till this day nobody ever offered me a starter Pokemon. Cheaters never win in the end. Only good people succeed. All lies. If you touch a baby duck, its mother will reject it. You won't always have a calculator in your pocket. Not even that long ago. Smartphones were already a thing. That being an astronaut is way harder than they sell it as palpable career. That if I went to college I would get a good job and be able to buy a big house with a pool. Nobody has offered me drugs yet. DARE made it seem like I'd have to be running away from people in vans offering me drugs every time I went on a walk. That I should never stand up to a bully. I should stop reacting so they would get bored and leave me alone. That if I ever fought back I would be suspended so it wouldn't be worth it. Don't worry. Every time I went to the teachers for help I was told I needed to share my lunch so it wouldn't get stolen. I needed to be more forgiving and understanding because the girl who attacked me was on the cheer team, etc. So this didn't give me some lasting problems with conflict. Nope. I learned in kindergarten that emperor penguins were the same height as us. True at the time. But as I grew, I still thought that they were still the same height as I am. Then, as a teenager, I was surprised when I saw penguins at the zoo that they were only 3 to 4 feet or so. And not my actual height. If someone is picking on you, that means they like you. No. Some people are shitty bullies and are picking on you because you're an easy target. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Christopher Columbus proved the earth was round by discovering America. If you don't go to parties you won't make friends. Cracking your knuckles causes arthritis. Learning to type in the 90s, pretty much every teacher I had insisted you needed 2 spaces after every period. Well, apparently that's wrong now, but fuck it, I still do it. Recycling plastic is an effective way to help save the environment. Turns out the whole campaign was started by the oil industry as a way to make people feel better about buying plastic, knowing all along that there was never any infrastructure in place to feasibly separate and clean plastics, so they end up tossed in the landfill with everything else. I'm hoping this will change as smaller companies start adopting better practices. But the vast majority of these are doing the same greenwashing in the name of creating a positive environmental culture, while actually not doing anything to help. As someone that really jumped into environmentalism and conservation, it was heartbreaking to learn about this. I'm hopeful that we can make better advancements on biodegradable plastics, since ocean plastic is projected to triple by 2040 at our current rate. Did you hear about Pluto? That's messed up, right? That there are 5 census like a bunch more than. We were taught that platypi, were extinct. Not endangered. Not almost extinct. Just extinct. Imagine my surprise when I discovered the internet. Also, for whatever reason we were taught that granite was a metamorphic rock. I'm taking college geology and it has shown me that all previous education prior to college is obsolete. That I'd basically be useless to the world if I didn't learn cursive writing. I'm pretty they stopped teaching it a year or two later. That your appendix is useless. While it causes more harm than good if it gets infected, it is believed to protect the good bacteria in your gut. That George Washington's false teeth were made of wood. Nope. They were real teeth from slaves. Which is just plain awful. That your tongue has taste zones. TBH. I never believed that one even in elementary school because it didn't make sense. Drugs would be easy to come by. You'll make friends easily. That people will be helpful when you're in need and you ask. That doing sponsored fun runs would end world poverty. I learned that the Civil War wasn't about slavery but was about states' rights and the North was the aggressor. Authority should never be questioned. The DARE program told me I'd be offered free weed but that's never happened to me. So unfair. You can be anything you want as long as you try hard enough and make good choices. I mean, technically it's not false. But the amount of times the schools spent teaching us to stop, drop, and roll to put out flames made me believe that me being on fire would be a much more frequent problem in my life than it ever has been. That child humans are made to stay at a seated position for half their wake time. Blood without oxygen was blue, that's why veins are blue but comes out red because if you're cut, it's exposed to air. I remember vaguely being taught about polywater in elementary school in the 80s, of course. That was also the era of the blue star tattoo urban legend, with a surprisingly large amount of the anti-drug propaganda being taught suggesting that strangers would regularly offer me drugs for free. Something that has definitely not happened in my adult life, of course. That was also the era where we were told to submit our Halloween candy for X-raying just in case there were hidden razor blades. My junior high civics teacher said that slant drilling was impossible. And that Iraq was lying when it said Kuwait had been using slant drilling to tap into Iraq's oil fields without paying for it. This was in the few weeks of Operation Desert Storm. I learned how to write in cursive because we were told that was important. Atoms are indestructible. That Indians were happy to be given the reservations and the chance to go to school. That doing something bad will go on my permanent record. That was so stupid, skeptical smiley face. My physics teacher told me to never pursue art because her father was an artist. And apparently they grew up poor and occasionally eating dog food. She made a point to call out my artistic pursuits during class and call them unwise life choices. I ended up pursuing it anyways. I make pretty good money as a designer. Words can hurt me. Those lemmings were pushed off the cliff by Disney. They don't do that naturally. I before E except after C. That Wikipedia was not a valid resource. My 6th grade teacher taught us that 4:15 was 4:25. She wasn't joking. Turning on the light in the car is in fact not illegal. If I tuck myself into a ball and cover my head with my hands, a tornado won't kill me. That being nice to others is not always reciprocated in kind. That racism was solved in the 60s. Pluto used to be a planet, then he was not, and now he's a dwarf planet. You won't always have a calculator with you. Well, I do, but mental arithmetic is sometimes still faster than pulling out the phone. Potato skins were poisonous. That I would succeed in life. We were taught in high school that your heart only had so many beats and when that number was over, your heart stopped and you died. I couldn't figure out how this worked since different people would have a different number of total beats their heart had available. Now I work in the medical field and see how it really happens. Your teachers in university, college will be even stricter than me. Nope. Called all my lecturers, professors by their first name. They respected us students and we often hang out and drank together. In middle school, my health teacher told us that 420 is the weed number because there are 420 chemicals in marijuana. Pretty much everything about Columbus. I went to a Christian school, so we had a science class where we had to prove the Earth was only 6,000 years old. Then prove why fossil records are false. I was giving an A on my paper. It was presented later at an event as one of the best defenses of Christianity that a student has written this year. That you need college to get any decent job. Probably the biggest lie, scam sold to our generation. That Columbus discovered America. Democratically elected officials represent their constituents. Nearly all historical account of everything. School is good and doesn't indoctrinate, now stand for the pledge. The biggest lie I've been told. That you can neatly pack surrounding nature into categories. Systematics are one of the most convoluted fields of biology. With species parkouring all across the bloody thing with every new genetic analysis. That liar's pants could catch on fire. It would really make things simpler if they did. Girls don't like having their hair pulled. The Indians taught the Pilgrims to grow corn. Even my husband was taught this. He's Native Alaskan, Native American, and grew up in Alaska. People still don't like the idea of teaching kids that Europeans kind of just came to the Americas and really fucked over the locals. Again and again. Moved them because they wanted resources. Then moved them again because they were on different resources. And acting like they're doing them all a huge favor by genociding their people. Check out an Indigenous Peoples History of the United States. Holy hell, it's insane how much shit Indigenous people have gone through. The Simpsons weren't joking when they had a Thanksgiving Day paper-maché parade float made of broken treaties. Virtually everything surrounding early American history is bullshit. The truth is way stranger, more interesting, and awful than the bullshit Disney-fied version. The capital of Germany was Bonn. Granted, at the time it was correct. But I only realized a few years ago that it switched back to Berlin after reunification. If you play Michael Jackson, Wham! And Queen music backwards, you can hear satanic messages. Fucking hilarious. Our music teacher literally played some stupid article for us that discussed this phenomenon. They played a Michael Jackson song backwards and literally clutched at straws to vaguely make out the words, "It's fun to smoke marijuana." These people were responsible for our education. Fuck me. This was around the same time Ninja Turtles were branded as satanic by the same generation of conservative racist boomers. That the crust of the bread has all the nutrients. Thanks, Mom. Don't talk to strangers online. If I had listened, I wouldn't have met a lot PF cool people. What did you learn in elementary school that turned out to be false, a lie when you reached adulthood? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more.